Hey, Michael, thanks for being here. And everybody else that's here, thank you for tuning in. Today on the Creativity Show, we're going to do what we always do, share the creative process with you. We are in what we're calling our marketing era. Even though I'm a mature person who's been doing art for, over half a century, I've never done marketing before. So there's always something new to learn, some way to keep expanding our skill set, our experiences. So marketing is what it's time for. So we're going to be showing today what um, what we're doing based on having our first marketing team members' response to the book. We're making a few changes and we're going to be publishing a second edition. So we're going to show you some of how that happens. Today, Bodhi's going to be doing it in front of you, which is one of the things we love to do on the Creativity Show, is show you what we're learning, show you how we're doing things, hoping that it helps you with whatever your creative endeavors are. So for the book, we're going to be changing some things on the cover, on the back, adding a luminary's quote, putting a border around my picture, and changing some of the size of the text, all based on a response from our marketing professional team member. And we're going to be trying memoir and art at the top, right under the title of the book. So we're going to show you a prototype of that. And when we're done with making the decision about these changes, we will then be submitting them. So the changes will go into effect immediately after they're received, and the new people will be getting the second edition. The other reason to do the second edition changes now, based on feedback from people we trust and respect, is it gives the marketing campaign something to announce to the places that she'll be sending it to. So we're going to show you how that happens. Are you ready for that, Bo?
Sure, I'm ready to start sharing my screen here in a moment. I'm going to share my Photoshop screen here. And so there we are. And I'm just trying to make it fit the window. So what we're going to be doing is making some adjustments to the text. So, but you can keep on talking. And how about this? I'll put a little bit of ambient music underneath. So
Okay. Well, first I wanted to say, on this very foggy day, I decided color would be a nice little jazzy mood elevator. And I like to always wear a stenciled outfit. So here's a warbler with a wildflower on this red silk outfit. Like all of my stencil art to wear outfits,
Hi, Joni.
Everything was, huh?
Joni said, "Hello, all."
Hey, Joni, I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Like all of my art to wear stenciled outfit examples, they were purchased used. It is my thing to try to walk lightly on the planet and use recreate from what we have or what other people have don't have a use for anymore. So That's my thing. Ecological, economical, and if we save money, we have extra money to help others with who don't have enough. And so no matter what else we have or don't have, we all have imaginations, which is what the Creativity Show is about. The freedom that cannot be taken away from us, the healing, life enhancing attribute of creativity. So I like to show all the different things, the possibilities of things we can do to enhance our lives, help others, heal ourselves, with our creative expressions. Expressing any emotion, and creativity is a way we can express them all. Stimulates our immune system. Feelings initiate thoughts, so makes us healthier and smarter. So there you go. Let me know when you're ready, Bo, and I will switch to just talking about the marketing part, which
You do whatever you want. I'm moving memoir and art up to under the subtitle.
fantastic. Okay. Well, marketing is not something I've ever had help with, I've ever even really honestly embraced. I've always done what moves me, inspires me, helps me feel more peaceful with my creativity. I love helping other people do the same thing, get more familiar, an increased connection to their own imagination and the confidence to express it creatively and the courage to share it with others. So I am a creativity coach ever since my 20s, when 9 people in one day asked me to teach, and I thought they know something I don't. And I learned to teach by doing it. And it does fit with my innate skill set or learned of being empathetic. I try to not dismiss anyone and try to, as best I can, connect and feel with them, for them, which I'd like to say the day before the election, I do not want to talk politics. I just want to say peace is the place that all other good things can come from. So let what happens tomorrow increase peace in the world is my hope, and harmony with each other worldwide and the environment. Our only home is the earth, and let us treat it with the respect and appreciation nature deserves, and let us treat each other with the respect and appreciation that fosters good things for everybody. Fighting, dividing, figuring out things to disagree about, that doesn't help anybody. What can we agree on is what helps everybody. So I'm pretty sure that almost everybody, I'm not going to say everybody, would agree that peace and harmony with each other and the environment is key to, us surviving and thriving. So let that be the result tomorrow, and let it continue and reverberate out. That is my wish for us and the world. So
I
there we go.
totally agree. And Sue Spencer shared your live stream. Claire Cooley is on live. She said, "Hi, Sue Spencer. Thanks so much for sharing."
Thank you, Sue. And Sue brought me a dress that she saw in a used store that she thought of me when she saw, kind of looked like a skating dress and as a dance skating outfit. And she brought it and left it for me. And it was the first of 50 different stenciled outfits I've done, over 100 different articles of clothing I've stenciled. I've made 300 stencil designs, and as you know, you can get them any one you like. There's 18 flowers out for the Patreon members at no additional fee, and the warblers, wildflowers are coming next. There's been starting this marketing, entering this marketing era and getting through the Catalyst, Minnesota Web Fest, all of that recently has been a total focus of our energies. So now I get back to getting the SVGs out for the Patreon members or for anyone that wants to purchase any one of them. The Patreon members get them all for no additional fee than the $5 a month membership. There's also a free membership on Patreon. And so there's no need to purchase anything, and there's no commitment to becoming a member. So whatever you're comfortable with works. Whatever you can afford is dandy. I just love to share the joy and the respect I have for creativity and the healing and life-enhancing attributes for us all. So that is the memoir that we're working on now in front of you, that Bodhi's showing you how he's trying the new second edition cover and back page or back of the book, based on the suggestions we've gotten. He's showing you how he's doing that in Photoshop. If there's any part you want to talk about it, just let me know.
So Michael said, why not reduce the size a few pixels in the subtitle and memoir parts? Yeah. So Michael, one of the things that I do with cover art is I'm very methodical and one change at a time. Like if I'm moving memoir and art, I only want to do that. So I only moved it up vertically. Then I moved the Freedom Flight art down. Then I moved the black, what do you call that? Gradient beneath the words CLARE COOLEY. Then I moved that down. So I go very methodically, one specific change at a time, and I make copies each time so I can easily go back. And then, but yes, I'm seeing what you're saying. We could make the subtitle "Rising Above Darkness" and the words "Memoir and Art" slightly smaller. I actually use a physical measuring device. This is a caliper, and I measure how big it is on the screen so that I make sure the letters and everything are the same. I compare the distance between lines with this, and it's actually a lot easier than measuring it digitally in Photoshop. I just measure how big it actually is on the screen. Anyways, so how's this looking, Mom? What I've done is I moved up Memoir and Art. I moved down the Freedom Flight art, and I also moved down the black beneath your name.
Well, I have to admit that the laptop all the way across the room, I can see it, but I can't see it in great detail from over here. So I'm going to have to wait until I can see it bigger on your big computer or when I'm up closer to the laptop. To give a final okay, but we're making prototypes to decide which we're going to go with, right?
Yeah, so I will give you some options to work with without changing anything too much. Next,
And
I should perhaps open up the version of the cover that allows me to change the back text. So one
Do
of the
you
things
want to
there
make
are,
it full screen, and then maybe I could see it better
sure.
for a couple minutes here? Great. And then I'm going to move the laptop a little closer too.
How about I come out and help you with that?
I got this.
I did it in a way that it's all tied together with cables and stuff.
I'll be careful.
Okay. So guys, we're just, I take it one step at a time. I know how easy it is to make changes that I can't undo and to kind of get lost. So I try to be very methodical when making changes to her book, whether it's the cover art or the manuscript file itself. And I recommend whenever you have a complex project like, a book, and you want to keep track of changes, to make a spreadsheet where you can keep track of all the changes you may want to make, and then once you go down that spreadsheet one change at a time, and each time you make one, you notate, you color code it. So green is we've made the change, no color is it's just an idea yet to happen. That's smart to do, one change at a time, and save each copy. Less Photoshop cries of frustration, lol. Yeah, Joni, for sure. It's a lesson that I've learned the hard way.
All right, I have a suggestion looking at it up close here is that Memoir cuts off the wingtips. So I would say Michael's suggestion of making at least Memoir and Art smaller, because it seems a little bigger than Rising Above Darkness, and maybe bringing the art down so that it doesn't cut off the wings.
So what I do is I bust out the caliper, which never lies. And so Memoir and Art is actually the same size. Wait. Maybe I am going to be sitting corrected. You know what? It's like a millimeter or two larger. So you guys are right. I sit corrected. So what I do is I go to the specific layer and I label my layers very clearly. So front cover Memoir and Art text. That's where I've got it. So I'm going to make a copy of it, and then I'm going to hide the previous version. And this new copy, I'm not just going to call it a copy, I'm going to say smaller. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to, now here's where it gets a little tricky. Let's see what happens when I make it. Let's make it, let's go from, now you want that wingtip to show. Did you notice I could bring the art down a little bit further and the foot could come a little bit closer to your name?
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Yes, I think that's a really good.
Okay. Let me get the spacing on Memoir and Art to be about the same as the spacing between the title and the subtitle. And then I will bring the art down more. Another thing we can do is shrink the actual art. So I bring it down and I shrink it, but let's do one change at a time.
That's right. I'm going to come see it close again.
So I'm duplicating the drawing. Oh, you know what? I actually already duplicated it. Let's delete that duplicate layer. So I made one called lowered and shrunk, but I didn't shrink it yet. So we're just going to lower it more. We're just doing it very incrementally.
I think it's kind of a cool effect that My foot is going to be standing on the Y platform of my last name. It's kind of cool. So
So it's now no longer behind memoir and art, but just barely. But
yeah, it'd be nice if memoir and art and rising above darkness were all one type size smaller. So there's a little air above the wing. And
okay,
then
so
yeah. Did you make memoir and art the same size as rising above darkness?
it's a little bit smaller, is what I think. Uh, you know what? No, it now they're both the same size.
Okay. Um, well, another thing, there's a band across the laptop screen here that keeps me from seeing under Claire Cooley, but Claire Cooley could come down, it looks like. And then the art could come down and there'd be a little space in between the wingtip and memoir.
Now, you should look at your black and white version of your book and actually have it so you see what these changes result in. How close is your name to the actual bottom of your actual book? Because that gives you an idea of, you know,
Okay, well, I have the color version here.
okay, well, that's not the version we're working on right now. So I would get the black and white version.
All right, I will do that.
So one of the things that adds a complication is because my mother's life story is all about art, we put art in the book. And so it was very important to have a full color option. And at the time when we first published it, Amazon's print on demand service charged an exorbitant amount for color paper, but Ingram Spark charged a reasonable amount. So through Ingram Spark, you can buy the color version only. And then through Amazon, you can buy the black and white version and the color version. So all the bookstores in the world got the color version from Ingram Spark, fortunately. But people had the option of going on Amazon to purchase either version. And that means that until we change this and we only choose one print on demand service, which would be Ingram Spark and not Amazon KDP, until we change that, there are two different versions of the book, and that affects the book cover art. And different
Well,
print on demand services have different placement of their barcodes on the back cover, and you have to adjust for that.
well, on both the color and the black and white, there's a little space under the Y that goes down the furthest in my name. So it could go down a teeny bit, and that might leave enough breathing room at the top of the wing.
Okay. Another thing is we could make that change. However, they do give you these sort of safety margins that you're supposed to be within. And
Okay,
so I should consult those. They give you a document for that. I wonder if I have that. I do. I do.
good job.
It's probably the base layer of this Photoshop file. In fact, it is. So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that base layer and I'm going to bring it up to the top so that it's more visible. And then I'm going to make it, I have actually done this a few times. I can see it now. There's a few different versions of this layer. I'm going to bring it all the way up to the top. I don't know a faster way to do this. There should be a faster way, but I'm just dragging it up You can see how many layers there are because I really took my time with building this out. Now, is this... Yeah, okay, so this is the KDP version. And let's...
You can make it a little bigger while I use the restroom.
Okay, I'm going to turn off your camera and your microphone. All right, now it's just me and you guys. How we doing? How is everybody? How are y'all? Let's make it a bit wider. Look at that. Look at that. Let's really let's get the optimized aspect ratio for Restream. There we are. So you can see what I'm doing here. The blue is that safety margin. You see, guys? I really thought about this and trying not to get anything outside of the safety margin. So that is why all of the cover text and everything. Let's reduce the opacity of this so we can really see what I'm talking about. So I do have some space to bring the Clare Cooley down without it touching the blue of the safety margin. But one of the problems that I found is if you get too close to that safety margin, sometimes when they cut the book, when they print it and cut it, evidently she is back. Let me turn her camera back on. Hello?
I'm here. Can you hear me? I
I
know
can
you
hear you.
can't see me because I'm up again. I'm up here. Okay, so I think what could be workable is to make Rising Above Darkness, Memoir and Art a typeface smaller, and make Clare Cooley a typeface smaller, and then that will be enough room around the wing, over the wingtip, to not have to move it any closer to the bottom and risk it being cut off in printing.
Right. So make the typeface smaller, but have it end up at the same spot.
Right.
Good.
Which
I like that.
will give a little air above the wing, and the foot will be hovering above the Y.
So let's see. So this is the front cover text. So I'm going to have to do some dividing of this layer. So I'm going to duplicate it first. Let's duplicate it a few times. All right. So this one's just going to be front cover text, Clare Cooley. So we're going to delete everything else so that we can make changes just to Clare Cooley. And let's make sure I deleted everything so there's no little scraps left in this layer. All right, so now we've got that. That's Clare Cooley. And what we're going to do is bring back... Cool. Okay. Now we're going to make Clare Cooley a bit smaller. Now again, because I'm not... fart. I was just about to talk about how we have an old version of Photoshop, and because Photoshop is an evil Adobe is a rather evil corporation, they don't like us using older versions of their software, and they just force quit the application on me. So let's see, when did I last save? Hopefully it didn't lose any of that. Okay, it lost a little bit of progress, but not much. We only lost a little bit of progress. So let's see, what was... So because Adobe is evil, they want you to pay monthly for their software. And because I don't like that, I don't. And every once in a while that creates some difficulties, like they try to make it impossible to use this old software that we paid for, including they make it really hard to do anything with text. So I can't really just type in Photoshop anymore. I have to get text from a different application and screenshot it into Photoshop, which is a pain. Oh, I'm also seeing that I didn't press save before moving the art down. So we're going to move the art down again. Usually it gives me a warning before just quitting the program, but this time it caught me off guard. Damn it. Okay.
Well, these are the challenges we have to face using the technology. Easy for me to say, especially since you're doing it.
It is easy for you to say, yes.
But I did the art, I wrote the book, and I lived the stories, so I did something.
You sure did. Okay. So I'm redoing a few of the things we already saw me do because I forgot to save. So that's life. You just learn from your mistakes. Okay. So now I'm just pressing save a lot. They can hear you, so you can chat away if you'd like. I'm just being boring over here. Anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, this marketing era we're in, I had to face a lot of fear to put my book out there because they're my real stories. But the fear I had to face to show these vulnerabilities and be honest about the things that happen in my life really was minor compared to the inspiration that it gave me to think that my stories could help others rise above their darkness. And we all have stuff to rise above. And so many people telling me, hearing my stories help them regain hope, heal, uh, return to positivity, love, trust, all of that good stuff uh, inspired me far more than the fear of exposing myself and being criticized or blamed or shamed, which does happen to victims in our world. For my distillation of that is three reasons. One, people don't understand. They say things like, she should have left him if a woman gets killed in a domestic violence. But in domestic violence, they know if the perpetrator is willing to hurt them, they're also willing to kill them. And most of the people that get killed in domestic violence, it's when they leave, when the woman leaves. Generally, it's not always happens only to women. It can happen to men too.
Oh,
And
I'm not sharing the screen. What happened there? Oh, because it quit. I didn't realize the screen wasn't sharing this whole time. Sorry about that, guys.
okay. So then the second reason, besides they don't understand, is afraid to live in a world where bad things happen to good people for no good reason. So, but they do. Bad things happen to good people for no good reason. So, you know, get brave, get compassionate, and accept that. So let's get more informed, let's get braver. And then the third reason is they want to blame victims because they are abusers, victimizers. And so none of those reasons are a good reason to not share what we've been through out of the fear of getting blamed. Let it be revealed who of us and where all of us, including me, don't understand, don't have the courage to accept the reality or blame others, because we're, capable of indifference, lack of compassion, apathy. So all those reasons, it's good to tell our stories, share our stories in the way that everyone has to choose for themselves when and how. I chose at 25 to start telling the truth about what I've been through. And then, a number of years ago, decided to make it. I've read some of my stories in readings in front of groups, but I published the book a few years ago to give it to the world in hopes of helping others. So that is a really good feeling, to feel that I did that, and I faced my insecurities to do so, and it's made me. It's had a very positive effect, and so now marketing is a whole nother series of insecurities, doubts, fear, um, and I don't know how to do it. I'm not. I'm not a kind of a normal consumer. I like to make everything I can instead of buy things and repurpose and recreate. So I don't necessarily get how a lot of people think or how things are marketed. So it's a real learning experience, which is good, and that's empowering.
I
Keep
agree.
learning.
I totally agree. And Joni said, "That's evil. I hate it when companies try to make useful things obsolete or impossible to repair." I so agree. I so agree. And I really love companies that help independent artists like us. Like there are some companies that I love to talk about, like Black Magic. The camera that we're seeing Claire with right now is a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, and you can get their industry leading um, editing software. It's actually a suite of post production softwares, editing, sound design, color grading, VFX, just like everything you need to make a movie on your computer. You can get it for free, or you can get a slightly better version for 300 bucks and you own it forever, and it just keeps getting better and better and better. And the guy who founded the company, he's a billionaire, and he says it's just like evil vampiric to try to charge people monthly for software. And you know I wish more billionaires were like him. I think his name is Grant Petty. Anyways, so I love softwares where they let you buy it once, or in this case, they give it to you for free if you buy their camera, and you have it forever. And there's a free version. That's the kind of stuff that I love. And unfortunately, I have to use Photoshop for some things. So I have to go to this old digital or physical version that we got on a CD-ROM, and they discontinued it in 2015, but I do everything I can to make my newer computers work with it. And it's really annoying that Adobe then goes back and says, nope, we don't want you using the old software you paid for because we want you to pay us more money. All right, rant over. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, I like to say that the one thing that the entire world agrees on, it is not God or goddess or gods or lack of, or, we should be kind to the environment. We should live in harmony with each other. It's money. And that, in my opinion, that oversimplification of the one thing the world agrees on is money, does state why humanity is in such a critical situation with wars in the world and degradation to the environment and global warming that's having catastrophic effects on different populations in different ways, and uh, polluting the water and the air and the soil, blah blah blah, extincting species, because putting money and profit above meaning and compassion for all is, well, it's not intelligent. This
I
is
agree.
our only home. It's like setting your own home on fire, um, to keep doing the things that are making this planet less hospitable. And those who think they're just going to make a space station on Mars and live there and grow everything they need to survive are not realistic, intelligent people. They might be good engineers that get the rockets there, but then what? So take care of Earth is
How's it
take care of
looking?
each other. Huh?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. How is it looking?
I'm going to get close again.
And today we're using a vintage lens on our Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera for live streaming. It's a lens from the Soviet Union in the early 1900s. And I think it's just fantastic. They made a bunch of these photography lenses in the Soviet Union, in Ukraine mostly. And they were so heavily mass produced that nowadays there's so many of them still around that they're very inexpensive on eBay, but they're extremely high quality lenses. So how's it look?
Cool. It's looking good. The only thing I might want to experiment with is the gradient behind, from the ankle to the toe. If it could lighten up, um,
Right. Thank you. That's another thing that I did already that that got that I didn't save before Adobe quit on me. So we're gonna do that again. All right. So one moment. Let's do that right now, and you can watch that happen. I'm gonna go
I'm
down.
standing. Yeah.
You're seeing it on a little bit of a delay. Now let me press enter, and it'll get a little lighter.
That's looking nice. Now, that looks really nice to me. Um, the rising above darkness gradient ending at the bottom of that line, and memoir and art being with that beautiful creamy beige behind it. I hadn't thought of it that way, but I like it.
Do you want to see what it looks like to make the gradient on the top go down further? We can just
Yes,
try
and
it.
of course you're saving this version, so if we
Yep.
choose to go back to it, we can. So yeah, sure, bring it down and let's look at that. And
Yeah, we're gonna try that real quick. So first I'm going to hide the previous version, and then we're gonna stretch this new version down to there and press enter.
above the, yeah. Well, that's also nice. I might like that better.
Now we can try. We can play with it a little bit. Let's lower it a little bit
Okay.
more. See how you feel about that.
I think that the tip of the wing needs to be over the pure bone color.
Okay, let's undo it. And now, so the tip of
Could
the wing
we?
is actually converging with the gradient a little bit right there. Do you want me to bring the gradient back a bit up towards the top?
Yes. And can you lighten from the bottom of Memoir to the bottom of Rising Above? So it's,
Can I make that part of the gradient lighter?
yes. Fading up to Rising Above Darkness.
This is how I'm going to attempt to do that. And it didn't do anything. So what I can do is I can move the gradient. Let's move the gradient up and then stretch out this portion of it and see if that has that effect. Did that have
That's
that effect?
pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Now, can we go to the bottom and can we make the gradient that from the ankle to the top of the Y lighter?
Sure. Let me duplicate this particular gradient. Let me rename it lowered V2, V2, V2. We're actually, these are 3 gradients on top of each other that we are working with here. So we're going to lower it and then we're going to stretch it because that seems to have that ability. Seems to have the effect that we're looking for. So how did that work?
That's looking good.
Yeah.
I'm liking it.
Okay. Cool.
I'm
Wow, how
liking it.
fascinating about the lenses. Thank you, Joni. I like to nerd out about things like that.
Cool. So let's let that be. And does
it.
any save it, right? And Joni, Michael, anybody, Sue watching, want to comment on the change that we made?
Joni
What-
said that's a great improvement to the gradient, in my opinion. Thank you.
Great. Good. Okay. So then maybe it's time to do the little bit on the back.
All right. Well, again, back to that complexity of we've got 2 different versions. So now I need to open up the version.
Well, you know what? It's almost been an hour, so maybe we'll take a break here and talk about what we're going to do on Thursday.
Great.
Okay? So it is interesting how this minutia can take, it does take time. But that's art. And that's why I like to be efficient about everything else in life. So I have time to take time with art and enjoy the process. So instead of working on the back of the book in front of you any longer, I'd like to have this last few minutes to talk about what we're going to do on Thursday is talk about Bodhi's project, which is the next movie he's going to be making, is literally going to be kind of meta and mysterious at the same time, because he and I are going to go to beautiful locations and shoot going there and walking there and having a meal there and conversing all along the way. So we're going to be showing beautiful scenery, beautiful architecture, beautiful environments as we're talking about his next fictional project. We're going to be really, non-fictional, talking about the creative process and using his project as a way for me as a creativity coach to help him focus and take the steps necessary to make something from his imagination real and shareable. So we're going to use the working title, partly in jest, inspired by my dinner with Andre. Hopefully you guys have seen it. If you haven't, it's worth seeing. A movie that takes place, I think, in one place, shooting two guys talking over dinner. And so we're going to call this My Picnic with Anders, because that is one of Bodhi's middle names. And so My Picnic with Anders is our working title for what we're going to start sharing next Thursday. We're going to finish this second edition changes, share that with you, and then we're going to move into his project and hopefully show you how a couple of very different people with very different skill sets can work together, collaborate to help each other's project get better. So how's that?
Fantastic.
So thank you for your help today on this. And one of the things that this marketing expert said was one of the primary focuses. I haven't done any marketing of my book at all, other than doing these live streams, some of which are grant funded, some of which we're doing ourselves. Other than that, and just sharing it with the few people in this big wide world that I actually know and connect with on social media, that's the only marketing. One person, me, telling you, hopefully you telling someone else. But what this marketing expert said, book clubs are something that is a great fit for my book. So if you know any book clubs, if you're in a book club, if you have a friend that's in a book club, we'd really appreciate hearing from you, because that is something we're going to pursue, is trying to share with book clubs. And I do think my real stories are, because so many people have said it, helpful to people, healing. There's some tough stuff in here, but even that, people tell me, is uplifting, because I choose to keep loving myself no matter what anybody else does or doesn't do. And I think that's an attitude that can help anybody, everybody, is basically forgive them. Don't forget, and don't put yourself in harm's way, but forgive them so you don't have that darkness in your heart. So there you go. But I'd love to hear from you if you know of a book club, if you're in a book club, if you have a friend that's in a book club. And we're going to do some incentive gift programs, which we're formulating and we'll be sharing soon. So meanwhile, thanks for tuning in today, and I hope you're enjoying this this misty, mysterious sky out there today with all this fog, if you're close to us anyway. or wherever you are, I hope you're finding a way to enjoy your day and stay creative. Thank you, Bodhi.
Happy to be here. Thanks. Thank you guys, and great job today, Mom.
Thank you. All righty. So we'll see you Thursday at noon.
Fantastic. Okay, guys, and if I missed anybody's comments or questions, I'll share them with her. And as always, check out her Patreon, patreon.com/Claire Cooley. You can join for free. It's a great way to support her work. You can also join for the paid membership and get a bunch of cool exclusive content. All right, guys.